I'm looking pale. I'm losing my summer tan real quick. Anyways, hi. So I wanted to talk today about muscle testing. I get questions about this a lot, and it's a pretty integral part of my treatment right now. So I wanted to discuss it more. I also think it's just really useful in general, whether you're treating an illness or not, because a lot of people take supplements or have food allergies or whatever, and they want to figure out what's going on. So first of all, what the hell is muscle testing? Let's start there. So muscle testing is also can also be referred to as applied kinesiology, which is the idea that different muscles in your body are linked with different body structures, organs, systems, glands, and so you can test the strength of a muscle to determine the strength of that system. Like, let's say that your biceps muscle is correlated with your pancreas. I don't know if that's actually true, but you can muscle test the strength of your bicep. This way, whichever way the applied kinesiologist does it, to determine if your pancreas is functioning properly or if it's weak. The same goes for other body structures and organs and systems. So that's the basis of it. There's also something called autonomic response testing, which is a muscle testing that blends applied kinesiology with neural therapy. It was developed by Dr. Klinghardt, who's a pretty well-known Lyme literate physician across the world. ART measures muscle tone and changes in the muscle tone, and it's considered to be a more advanced form of muscle testing. To be honest with you guys, I haven't experienced it being any different or better than like your typical muscle testing. That's just my personal experience. I think I've dealt with some really good applied kinesiologists, and that's probably part of the reason why. So that's kind of the basics of what muscle testing or applied kinesiology is and a rundown of it. It's really hard to do muscle testing on yourself. A lot of physicians now or alternative practitioners are trained in applied kinesiology or some form of muscle testing, and they will muscle test for you on your arm, whatever part of the body, to determine what maybe infections you're dealing with or what supplements or medications you may need. So I'm going to talk about how you can do muscle testing or testing of some sort, energy testing, let's call it that, energy testing yourself at home. I do this if I think I need to take a supplement, but I'm not sure if my mind's playing a game on me. I can muscle test or I can energy test it to determine if I should be taking that supplement if I don't have access to a doctor who can do it for me right there. You can test foods. You can actually test a lot of things with certain modalities that I'm going to show you. You can test like life questions, which I don't suggest doing until you feel really comfortable with that method and really strong with it, and it's really connects with you, because asking big life questions is kind of a big deal. So there's 3 main ways to basically self-test or energy test at home that I'm going to be talking about today. The first is the pendulum, the second is dowsing rods, and the third is like the body sway test. So let's jump right into it and start with pendulums. So this is my pendulum. I think that pendulums are my favorite way to energy or self-test at home. Essentially what you do is you will hold the pendulum. First you need to determine what a yes is and what a no is. So most of the time, if the pendulum ends up swinging in a clockwise position, that means a yes, and if it swings in a counterclockwise position, that's a no. For me, because I'm opposite with everything and my body's fucking crazy, for me, swinging counterclockwise is a yes and clockwise is a no. And the way you basically set your pendulum and determine that is you can do a couple things. I like to do both to make sure it's set. Is I sit there and I think, show me a yes, show me a yes, show me a yes. And I see which way it swings. And then I know that's a yes answer. And then I go, show me a no, show me a no, show me a no. And I just keep thinking that and see which direction it swings. And then I'll ask questions that I know like have obvious answers, like my name is Victoria. That's going to be a yes, and I make sure it swings the same direction it was showing me a yes to. I'll ask questions like I live in Alaska. I don't live in Alaska, and I'll make sure it's swinging in the no direction. So that's how I know it's set. So then what you want to do is, let's say you're trying to test a supplement, like should I be taking this vitamin D supplement? So you hold the vitamin D supplement in your left hand. You'll say, should I be holding this should I take this vitamin D supplement today? You want to be as specific as possible with your questions. You want to say things like, should I take this, name the brand, emulsion vitamin D supplement today? Or like, will it support my system today? Or, should I take 5 drops of this today? Whatever. I start with like, should I take this? I'm kind of more general because I'm not as good at it, but I find that it works okay for me. So if they say something like, should I take this emulsion vitamin D by this company supplement today? Will it be supportive? And I see which direction the pendulum swings. And then if it's a yes, I'll be like, should I take, 1? Should I take 2? Should I take 3 capsules or drops or whatever? So that's basically how you do pendulum testing. It takes time, it takes practice, so I suggest practicing kind of with basic questions first, and really get that down, and then you can move on to supplements and food. So do that with food too. I'll be like, will this banana give me a stomach ache, or is this banana bad for my health? And I'll see if it's really something I can tolerate or not. The way you pick out a pendulum, you don't want to pick something random. You need to connect with it. So what I did was I went to a store that carries crystals, because they always have pendulums at crystal stores. And I looked through all of their pendulums. I was probably there for 30 minutes at least looking through all their pendulums, and I wasn't really connecting with any of them. I asked if I can hold them, and I kind of test them and see if they'll even, some of them just won't resonate. You'll ask questions and it won't move. That's not the pendulum for you. So I was going through all these pendulums, and I found one that I sort of liked but didn't love, and then the last minute I spotted this one in the corner. I hadn't even seen it the whole time. And I was like, that's my pendulum. And I went to it, because it's a crystal. I went to it and I was like, and I tested it, and it just tested so perfectly. So pendulums are usually made of crystals. You can make your own, because you can get a crystal and put it on a chain if you have a crystal you really resonate with. But I found I didn't want to deal with making one, so I just bought my own. So that's how pendulums work. The second modality I'm going to talk about are dowsing rods. So these are what dowsing rods look like. They're 2 long rods. Sometimes they're shorter. The longer ones are usually easier for beginners. This is not my specialty, and I'm not very good at using them, but I do have them to practice with, and I've used them a few times. There's a lot of information on the internet about how to use dowsing rods, so if you're really into that, I suggest doing more research and reading on it, but I'll go over them briefly. So essentially, what you do is you hold them, you sit nice and straight, and you hold them out in front of you. You don't want to hold them right at a right angle, because then they won't move. You want to hold them up a little bit so that they have the ability to tilt in and out. And usually when they close, that's a no, and when they open, that's a yes. And again, you want to test it, so you want to be like, show me a yes, show me a yes. See there how they're opening. You also don't want to block them with your thumbs or fingers, so make sure you're holding low enough. I hold them in place with my thumbs while I'm asking the question, and then I let go. So show me a no, show me a no, and then they closed, essentially. And then, I'll ask questions like, is my name Victoria? And they open into a yes. So they take a lot more practice, because you really have to put the energy into thinking about it, about the question. And with dowsing rods, you have to be even more specific. You have to be super specific about your questions, which is where I get caught up, because I like to just ask the general question, is this good for me? Is this not good for me? Which I find the pendulum and the sway method works better for. The dowsing rods, you have to be very, very specific. Something I didn't mention before, but it's really important to say, is that you can trick your answers by overthinking. If you really want to eat this food, and you're like, should I eat it? And your brain's like, I want to eat it, I want to eat it. You can get a yes answer. So I suggest, before going into this, taking a deep breath, kind of centering and grounding yourself, and trying almost to remove yourself from your body, so that you can just be like, is this good for me? And you're kind of off in the heavens, to let the pendulum and your body, the energy of your body, connect with the modality you're using and show you what the real answer is. So the last method is called the sway method. So what you're going to do is you're going to hold This doesn't require any techniques, only your body, which is what's nice about it. I get mixed results with this one because I have a hard time with it, but a lot of people have a lot of success with it. So what you do is you hold the food or the supplement, whatever, in your left hand because that's closer to your heart, and then you're going to hold it at your heart center. You're going to be standing for this one. And what I like to do is I like to gaze out a window or at a painting so that I can, again, like kind of remove myself from my body and be looking at something else and focusing on something else. I'm not super focused on the food or supplement or whatever I'm testing. So you're holding it at your heart center, like gazing out into the world, and ask, like, should I take this supplement today? And you're gonna wait a moment. You're gonna ask the question, gaze out, wait a moment. And if your body starts to sway forward, that's a yes. If it starts to sway backwards, that's a no. So like, will this food give me a stomach ache? If you sway forward, it's a yes. If you sway back, it's a no. So you could eat it potentially. It won't give you a stomach ache. I don't know if it'll make you feel other symptoms, but that's how you do that one. So that one's a lot more basic. And again, takes a lot of practice. Always calibrate by asking yes and no. Ask your body to show you yes and no first, and then ask your body questions you know the answer to, like your name, where you live, really basic stuff like that, that there's no wavering in what the answer is. And all these methods take practice, and then as you get better, you can be more be better at testing your supplements and food. A lot of times, doctors and whoever will give you lots of supplements, but your body doesn't need them every day. So if you wake up and you're like, I am not feeling this, like usually your gut reaction is right. So if your body's like, I don't want to take this one today, I don't know, I just can't. You can not, but you can also test it, energy test it to see if your body's really telling you, yeah, no, we don't want it today. And usually it won't, and that could lower your load for supplements. I know some people who actually test their supplements every single day, so they only take what they need to on that day. But if you're like me and you're taking 50 different things, it's just hard to muscle test everything every day, morning and night. So I usually just test in general if I'm not sure about something that day. So I hope that kind of explained muscle testing, self-testing, energy testing, and how to do it. And this comes of a brief overview and run through, but I wanted to get this video out for a lot of people who keep asking me about it. If you have any other methods that you love to use, let me know in the comments. I love learning about new methods that work for you all. And if you have any questions about muscle testing or ART or any of the methods I showed you today, leave those in the comments as well, and I'll be happy to get back to you if I do know the answer to them. Otherwise, I hope that you enjoyed this video and you found it useful. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you did. It helps support my channel as well, so I really appreciate it. And share this video if you think somebody else might get some use out of it. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, night, whenever you're watching this.